So Noah, thanks for joining us today. We're at the Southeast Slingshot Tournament, and I'm going to take a moment and just talk about slingshots with you.
All
So
right.
one I like to ask folks that will make a journey to come to a shoot like this is what got you into it. Why are you into slingshots?
Well, on a ground level is Darrin Cook.
Yep.
Known him for years. As you know him. He's a spectacular person, and so I took a lot of cues from him throughout the years, just his state of being, his mindset about how things go. He laid a slingshot on my desk at work I think it was birthday. It was my birthday. And I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty neat. He was kind of talking about slingshots at the time. Started going to, I think, some of the shoots, maybe Blues was one of the first ones that he went to. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of neat. It just did not register to me at the time that grown people
Yeah.
actually spent time with this. It's one of those things. Everybody on the planet, or at least in the United States, has had some sort of experience as a child with a slingshot or some apparatus very similar. So I stuck it in my little bag, briefcase type thing that I had, and I carried it around for a year, just because it was Darrin. And
But you never shot it?
No, I never shot it. I just had it there, and Darrin is just that kind of influence on me. Probably a lot of people that he knows or meets. You respect whatever Darrin gives you, you know, and it meant a lot to me. He'd give me like lavender bags that his wife makes. It's like crushed lavender or whatever, and you smell it when you're feeling anxiety or whatever, whatever. It's just, he'd give me stuff like that, and I'd keep it around because it's Darrin. Snowy day at work, I was the only one to show up on that day, and I didn't have anything to do. Took the slingshot out, set a can up about 5 feet away, I think, and hit it with a rock, and there was something about that. It was on.
Yep.
And I'd never really, I don't think that there's been a day since, even sick days, even days that, I feel like my whole body's turning inside out due to a flu or whatever, that I don't shoot something with a slingshot. And there's, it touched a lot of innate things in me that I was doing a lot of seeking at the time for, and even currently. Just there's, like we talked about before, marksmanship, intent, physical space, physics. Just, it says so much about so many things of what it is to have an experience, a physical, emotional, mental experience on Earth, the things around you.
Yeah, I think we've talked about it, which kind of is going to lead me to my next question. What do you love most about slingshots? And something I think we mutually love is that it deepens our everyday experience. It adds just another layer of depth. Wherever you're practicing it, whatever your mindset might be, there's always a parallel there that you can draw and glean some solace from.
Yeah.
Which is kind of metaphysical, but slingshots cross that boundary.
They really do. And, I don't have a lot of experience with guns. I've done some fishing. I'm not, so to speak, an outdoorsy type person. It's kind of hard to really focus on what it is about it, but it has elements of dance in it, that you become very aware of your physical body mechanics, and how you're relating and intending to hold up. It's maybe even yoga. It's very similar to that.
Yeah.
And the repetition of that. There's also for me, there's one of the things that I tend to focus on is I'm very spiritual, and in the Bible, Paul talks about sin, and in the Greek there's an underlying theme that sin is to miss the mark. And so to me, it's a real, I don't want to say rudimentary, but just very concise display of that within a small activity that doesn't require, and these were big points to me then and now, it does not require a lot of money.
Yeah.
You do not have to have a lot of know-how, or you learn all of that on the way, and so little of it is reliant on purchase or reliant on technology even. I mean, that's technology fits into the community in the sense that we're all so spread out that we use it to communicate and show technique and all that, but just the bottom level, being out in your yard, that's another big thing for me. Is it did, even though I say I'm not an outdoorsy type, it got me back outside, and that's very important.
Yeah.
Just again, on a ground level, it's through time that we have boxed ourselves into file cabinets. Mankind, was meant to be outside, communing with nature, or however you want to put it. I don't know about any of that, but what I do know is that the air is purer out here. The stuff is all something that we should consider. And when you're shooting a slingshot, you're dead in the middle of that, because at some point you're going to move from cans to a blade of grass. Yep. Can I hit a blade of grass? Yes, you can, yep. And with purpose, exactly. With intent, and that's a deep thing. My journey with slingshots has been like baby steps with that, and it's just a beautiful thing, really. I can't speak more highly of it, and I think that the same thing that happens with me would happen with anybody on a long enough timeline. Not everybody's going to put it up and internalize, or pick it up and internalize it the way that I did, but I think that everybody gets that on some level.
Yeah, when you smack that can, it connects something deep.
Very deep, yeah.
You don't have to connect it with anything, but everybody feels it.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, you have become an outstandingly good shooter in recent months. I know you've had some coaching and have really focused on your technique, and you've really catapulted your skill, so to speak.
Thank you.
You know, in that time, what's the one thing that's been your biggest accelerator for your shooting? What's that one tip that you'd pass on that has really made you make that transition, like where you've really markedly increased your performance?
That's really hard to say, but I would say I have a long and a short answer to this. The short answer would just be to do it, just to consistently do it and express intent. That's basically it. Your body knows how to do it. It's the same as pointing at something, you know, and you're dead on.
Yep.
I mean, they even teach that in police academies, that you point at something away and then point back, and you're on.
Yep.
So your body innately knows where it is in space, and that's to borrow from you. I've heard you say that exact same thing before. But the longer answer, I guess, was what really was, I guess, the turning point for me is just really paying attention to my body, less about, you get to fiddling with stuff like, is it this, is it this, is it this, and does this band work better than that band, or, all that.
And you have so many variables, you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, and you can get lost in that. So it's, another thing you talk a lot about is just consistently pick something and just stay there, and your body will figure that out. But, with me, that was a huge step. So I would get little pointers from people. Well, you got to really pay attention to where the ball is on the bones of your finger, or you got to pay more attention to the target than your frame, or some people would be the opposite of that. To me, it's where it's paying attention to that line.
Yep.
That innate pointing ability that we have, and when you can let go and let that natural ability to be in space and know where you reside in the overall picture relate to where you want your projectile to go to that target. When you trust that the most is when you're going to be the best.
Yep, absolutely.
When you fight it, all that stuff, is you're
Yeah, get the head out of the way and just
Yep.
feel it.
Yeah, so you're losing ground when you do that. So I guess so. All of that to put that in a little package is get out there and do it. Familiarize yourself with the process, with your shot,
Yep.
and then just let it be. Get out of the way. This is not all you don't always have to know why. Sometimes it is just that. So let it go.
Love it. Yeah, that's Slingshots. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, man. My pleasure.